Hello, and welcome to War with a Mate with me, James.
Hey, Andy.
And this is it. This is the end of the scenario. There's been a victor declared.
There's been a victor for the scenario. It's not the end. We are keeping the scenario going, but we have
It's
a
over.
victor. Okay, we didn't...
This is it.
Okay.
It's all done. Never to be revisited.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us at War with a Mate. You'll never see from us again.
It's not even what we would do if we weren't saying we'd finish the scenario.
Yeah, that's it. We finish the scenario, we pack up our bags, we take our doubloons, and we ride off into the sunset.
Right.
We're singing off different hymn sheets, but I've got the doubloons. It's over.
Yes, you've won the scenario.
I managed to, at long last, after a year of playing this godforsaken, beautiful, horrible game, I've won the Graziani's offensive scenario.
Yeah.
Didn't think I'd be doing that in January.
No, well, until last time we played, we didn't think about it at all, and then it abruptly became very real.
All of a sudden, the victory conditions were a part of the game. And today, that came to a head, and we finally ended, in terms of the win conditions, we ended the scenario. As a caveat, yes, as Andy mentioned, we will be continuing to play the scenario out over the remaining 3 turns to see what happens, to make sure we've got complete familiarity with the rules, because a few things cropped up today that we haven't actually visited before, so there's still plenty of areas that we can get some knowledge from.
Oh, yeah.
But we've actually ticked off what would end the scenario if we were just playing this to have a fun time and end it.
Yeah.
Which no one is, because no one does. This hasn't been done for fun, I think, at any point in history. I think anyone who plays it, it's some sort of experiment.
It is actually fun, though.
It's yeah, I mean, I enjoy it moment to moment, but now that I look back, and it's been a year, and this doesn't feel as grandiose as I thought it might.
I think it's because it kind of just ended because of...
Because I ticked boxes?
Yeah, and you did take the stuff, but I just vacated that because I didn't think it was important. And then suddenly it's like, oh, now you've lost everything.
Yeah, this was very surreal. We've been playing this for a year. I guess we'll go over what happened today.
Yeah.
Then we can maybe look back at what happened in the broader sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very strange to have finally ticked off what makes up the Graziani's offensive. Halfway through that scenario's run length as well.
Yeah.
It's meant to run 6 turns. We've finished it at the final up stage of turn 3, so the exact halfway point.
Yeah.
And it did have a real flashy end.
It was a hell of a day of play today.
Yeah, there were more combats than I think we've done in any... Well, definitely more than we've done in any other play session. Maybe combined over the majority of the game. Because we clashed...
It was 10 battles or something?
Yeah, we clashed over and over.
And all over the map, yeah.
At Sidi Barani, we just kept on going at it. Your 7th Armoured Division really lived up to the reputation they've been building in the history segment because they would not let up. And it was only thanks to a rule that we clarified today that I was able to hold my own against them.
Yeah, because it's the... you can just not retreat if you lose and take an extra 10%, which if you're holding an objective...
Means you'd rather
just do that, yeah.
Well, in this situation, it was either I take the extra 10% losses and hold Sidi Barani, or I lose the chance to win.
Yeah.
And the play state that it's been left in at the end of this technical victory that I found, it's not boding well. This is a flash in the pan, and I think over the next 3 turns, it's going to look very, very different.
I will say... there's a bit of saltiness on my part, but...
to be expected.
Yeah.
It has been a year.
It's
and
more,
because it came down to a technicality, and it came down to, again, us not really understanding, not even just the rules, just the win conditions. Something that we didn't really revisit much at all.
I think they just felt really distant, and then you looked at them and you're like, oh, fuck, I could have won last turn if I'd looked at them before, and then you won... It didn't realize how knife edge it was.
The game state that we had was so fragile, and we didn't realize until we looked at those win conditions, because either one of us could have lost in that very same op stage if one or two things, I think one thing on either side had went differently.
Yeah.
Mine was redistributing the trucks
and
while
if
holding
I'd
everyone.
gone after your last truck convoy with the 11th Hussars.
Yeah, before I split off my trucks, then that would have been it. So we've come to an end of it, and I think it's been it did exactly what we set out for it to do. It taught us the rules.
Oh, yeah. And more than just like rules, it's also like strategy, like how you should handle your supply lines, that sort of thing.
It went in a few stages. The first was how do
Learn the rules, yeah.
I think before that, how do we actually get the game set up?
In a playable way.
Because we couldn't take the game apart and put it back up every week. We did the magnets. Then it was, what are the rules? And that's still something I guess you could say is in progress. And then beyond that, it's how do you implement the rules into a strategy and actually play the game, not just in the sense of I'm using the rules to progress turns, but how do you use that to win? And that's still something I wouldn't say I've completely done, because my win is technical. My win is I've met the conditions for it.
Yeah.
But we've just kind of stumbled into the situation. I wasn't working towards this for 5 or 6 weeks. I realized last week that I'm on the cusp of winning and just quickly pulled something out the bag to meet those conditions. And I feel like that's also part of why we need to keep going, because it feels very disingenuous to shut this off here and go, well, that's it, done. Let's continue with the full game, because we've not really got to a point where I feel like I'm playing each week with an objective in mind, apart from take this place, take that place. None of it ever connected into one full strategy,
yeah.
Winning
it's all
this
tactical.
game. So today we started off with your movement wrapping up.
Yes.
And it was a big one, because we left last week knowing that if I lose my position in City Barani, then this whole thing falls apart and I can't win. So you pushed hard.
They gave it a bloody good go, the 4th and the 7th. They tackled 4 or 5 divisions at various points.
Yeah, so the 7th Armoured Division, the 4th Indian Division, and who else was sitting with the 7th?
They had a tank, second or 7th Royal Tank Regiment was just on them.
Yes. So they made a push along the coastline.
Yep.
They pushed in against the 63rd Serene, and they fought back. However, it wasn't enough. The mismatch was insane. When you first rolled up and you told me those numbers, I was terrified. The differentials that you work out, we've talked about this before, but to recap, the differentials you go through are the size of the units that are clashing. So if it's division versus division, it's fairly it is equal. There's no difference. If it's division versus battalion,
it's 2.
If it's battalion, it's 4, I think, isn't it? Battalion
battalion's the small, yeah.
So that differentiates the modifier by 4, and then there's a few in between, of course. So that came into play. However, that was balanced, I believe. 63rd being a...
Yeah, I think it was a later fight where the division...
Yeah, later on it became a bit more of a factor, but that was flat. The next big thing that changes is morale. Morale factors into things massively, and my morale, for the most part, in my units, starts off bad. Ironically, the only ones that I can recall off the top of my head who have positive morale are the Saharan detachment.
Yeah.
And yeah.
We'll get to them.
We certainly will. So I was already on the back foot, and then your cohesion level affects morale, because you roll on a table at the start of combat. Based on your cohesion, it could detriment your morale. The lower your cohesion,
surrender.
Yes, which happened to the Saharans when they first showed up at Alexandria. Yeah. They showed up, and because their cohesion was, I think, minus 15 at that point, it led to a surrender result. And in this situation, my cohesion was already a little bit lower than I would like it to be. So my morale dropped further, which led to a difference of about 4, I think it was, in this fight.
Yeah, I've got the...
Between mine, I think, panned out at minus 3.
Yeah, the first one was a 4 difference. It was typically about a 4 difference.
So we're looking at a 4 difference before we factor in the units that are being used in terms of the strength points, the toe strength. So when it came down to it, you ended up dropping, I believe it was 12 actual toe points.
Yeah, which I think we mentioned it before, but the way you work that out is each unit has a close assault and a close defense rating. But if you're attacking, you times that by the toe, and that gives you a score. Like I got 120 odd, and then you divide that by 10 and round it to get
the actual,
which is what you use.
And I think it came out in that instance to maybe like 48, so rounded to 5 because of the division by 10. So a big mismatch already. So that was a difference of 11. I think it fell between 11, 12, something around that region, which is into the worst column in the close assault table, which is where there's a little divider between the other numbers and the overrun section, which meant in that combat, everything was fair game. You could attack my back. I didn't have any back guns, to be fair. I put everything forward. I went all in with this fight.
Normally, losses are from what you've assigned to the fight. If you get an overrun, losses are from everything in the hex.
Yes, which meant some heavy losses because I, understandably, was pushed back at the end of that fight. I did, I think, 0 damage to you. I don't think you lost anyone in that first fight. So I was pushed a hex back. I was forced to retreat by a hex. So you advanced. And as you advanced, the groups that you had split because the 4th Indian Division was now poised to take on a different group, while the 7th pushed on
to Sidi Barani. That's when we had the big mismatch, because there was the thing with one. You had a tank unit that had split off because it was pinned.
Yes.
Then my division attacked, so that was 4, and then I think 4 from the morale.
That's it. Because previously the Trivoli regiment, my tank regiment, had a bit of a run-in on the road, and one of the groups were pinned, one of my army units, so they broke off and stayed behind, later on linking back up with the group. So they were the wall that the 7th Armoured came up against.
Yeah.
So the 7th Armoured Division versus, I think it was 8 tanks.
Who all died, I think?
No, those ones survived.
Oh.
You took out all 8 tanks that the 63rd had.
That was it.
All of those tanks were destroyed in that first fight. Yeah. And my rationale between them being the ones that were killed is because every time you fought them, you kept on pinning those tanks. So I thought, well, I'll get rid of them.
Yeah.
They'll be the loss. You captured half of them. The other half were destroyed, which meant the 7th progressed and then were facing up against the
1st Libyan in Sidi Barani.
Well, they took on those 8 tanks that remained, absolutely blasted them. They had to retreat. And then, yes, from there you were sat at the gates. You were right in front of Sidi Barani. And the 4th Indian were
slightly south.
Yeah, they were ready to come up as well. They were up against that was the 1st Libyan.
1st Libyan were in Sidi Barani.
That's right. Yes.
It was the Matru. I don't know your guys.
I'm trying to think. You give me a moment. It's on the map.
Yep. He's leaning off a chair with his head in between the maps. Any luck?
No, I can't see from the map now because we then did movement afterwards. I can't remember who it was. This is bad, but I might be able to quickly consult my spreadsheets. Actually,
they were against a not division, right?
That's right. Yes, they were against a smaller group. Who was it? I can't remember now. It wasn't the Miladi division. They showed up later.
Syrisis or something.
No, that was the Serene. That was the 63rd. I'll get it back up in a little bit. I'll figure that out just for my own sanity. You had another run-in.
Yeah.
This is the crux. So the 4th were held back a little bit, and then you pushed on to Sidi Barani with the 7th, and that's when you encountered the 1st Libyan, and now the tanks that were also being pushed back. So that conflict was a bit of an issue for me. Oh, it was the 63rd Serene. Yes. Sorry, yes, it was because they just got moved back a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they came in and attacked on yours, but we'll get to it.
That's right. That all makes sense now. It's been a chaotic day, guys. It really has. It's been so much combat. And I needed to win. I didn't really win any of it, but all in all.
Yeah.
So yes, you continued your push. Sidi Barani was now under assault. But I was still hopeful that there was going to be some result on my end. That didn't come. Instead, the 1st Libyan just got pounded by the 7th Armoured Division.
And then they should have retreated, but you found out that you could not retreat and spend 10%.
Yeah. So I was looking at the table on the close assault, and it said one of the results is retreat, which we've seen before, and it mandates retreat of anywhere from 1 to 3 hexes. And it says you do that or you suffer additional losses. And I thought, well, that's interesting because I'd quite like to suffer additional losses if it means not retreating. Lo and behold, in the rules, you can suffer an additional 10% loss if you cannot or choose not to carry out this retreat. And I thought, well, 10% extra losses, I'll happily take that if it means sticking it out. So I did just that. I stuck it out. So they were battered. Following that battering, you battered them again. They still stuck it out, took even more losses. 40% the first time, I think.
And then 35, or 35 and then 40.
So you took off 40% and then another 40% of 60%. It was bad. I lost more than half of the 1st Libyan Division. However, they held themselves in place.
And that was when I was weighing up, do I burn through? Because I'd have to kill them to the man to get the hex. And it was sort of I could maybe give this a go, but because of the way that the losses are percentages, I'd need to win like 4 or 5 fights, I think.
Yes.
It would be a lot of fights to win to gradually work it down.
You wouldn't be able to decimate them in the way you'd need within the timescale you had, the timescale being that op stage, which meant by the end of that, you'd decided to relinquish your assault. So began my movement.
Yes.
And with my movement, I made a few moves that were fairly inane. I shuffled around some of the divisions so that they were closer to this front. Some of them I moved right into the front. The Maletti division, the guys that were nearby, the Bardia garrison and the Trivoli regiment, they snaked around to come after the 4th. So I had a division, the Trivoli regiment and the Bardia garrison all ready and poised to take on the 4th Indian division.
Yep.
While the 1st Libyans would try and take on, with what they had left, the 7th Army.
That was probably a fight you wouldn't have chosen, but because they're in the hexes next to each other, they have to. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
And I also sent my remaining Saharan guys, the little break-off from the detachment, the ones left behind, they went to Alexandria.
And what did they do?
They got to the gates and they surrendered instantly.
Yeah.
As is the MO of the Saharan detachment.
I've also realized that I need to get because I've got the equipment I captured for like the guns and stuff, but I'll also need the trucks.
Yeah, you need my trucks. That's a shame. They don't really have anything in there, so it's pointless.
And I just need trucks. I can fill them up with stuff from Cairo and Alexandria. I'd love more trucks.
Well, speaking of trucks,
yeah,
the last bit of movement I made that was, well, I guess not the last, because it's a very important last bit of movement I made, but I did move to what was originally the Tobruk garrison back into Bardia, where they were before, to take on your guys, the truck bandits, the 11th Hussars and the Fusiliers that have decided to perch themselves in Bardia. And I really battered them.
Sent a division after them.
I did, and I took some of them prisoner.
No, you killed the 1st Northumberland Fusiliers because they had 1 tow point left, and you...
They surrendered.
No, sorry, you bombarded the Hussars so they were pinned, which meant the 1st Royal Northumberland Fusiliers just surrendered, and then you attacked again.
It was not the result I wanted because some of them are still in there.
I still have Bardia, yeah.
I don't love that. But what I did love was my final bit of movement, which was to move the black shirts, the 2nd and 3rd, all the way along to Tobruk, and then the 3rd split off and went further down south, and then broke off 20 of their trucks to become a truck convoy.
Which met the conditions of have a supply line.
And that was it. That was all I needed. So we played out the combats. I was completely ineffective against the 4th Indian Division. They did 20% against me. I lost 20% of those guys.
Yep.
You lost 0%. The Saharans showed up at Alexandria, surrendered immediately. Hearing that the rest of their group had surrendered previously, they thought that's the going trend, so let's do it. And that was it. That was the wrap-up of movement, and therefore the wrap-up of the win conditions.
Yeah, because you just had to get a supply from Tobruk, and then Tobruk's within 40, so light trucks of Sidi Barani, and then the rest of it you were much more comfortably supplying.
Yes. So it means that's it. That wraps up that scenario. The win conditions were met.
Yeah.
We'll be picking up with truck day next time because we still got trucks to do for this op stage. But I have everything I need to have won.
Because it felt like a very good op stage for me.
It was.
If it wasn't for the win condition.
Yeah, by
like,
all
it
accounts.
was a great op stage for me.
You made incredible pushes with minimal losses. Absolutely hammered my forces. My first Libyan division is completely crippled. I can't really use them effectively as a division anymore.
Yeah.
So going further into the scenario, I don't know that I'm going to have any real might to hold Sidi Barani.
Yeah.
I'm going to probably have to pull out the first Libyan, which is funny that we're playing this out for the rest of these turns because it's just a mess now.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm going to try and I've realized I can't come up because I ignored Siwa, which means I basically couldn't win the first two. If I take Tobruk, I get the top level one. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to try and go for that.
I can see you holding Tobruk by the end of this.
Yeah. I mean, I went into it because I was like, I need to dislodge them. I'm going to throw the divisions at them.
Yeah.
They performed so well.
Incredibly.
Like,
The fact I had a division up against the 4th and they were bolstered by a tank regiment and some additional guys on top of that, a whole garrison from Bardia, which was, by the way, incredible with their barrage.
Yeah.
I barraged you with the maximum amount of barrage that I can hit. I had 9 guns in there. Some of them had 9 barrage points and like 6 tow.
Yeah.
So it was just an absolute bloodbath with that barrage. Managed to pin down your tanks with complete ease. Nearly took off a tow point as well while I was there. But all in all, this is not going to look well for the rest of the scenario. I'm going to be absolutely battered. However, I will do so with that slight sugar rush, that little buzz of a Kinder Bueno. And I'm still not sure which one I'm going to pick, Andy.
You got to let me know before next time.
I've got the option of a milk chocolate, a white chocolate. I think they do dark chocolate Kinder Buenos.
The shop I'll be getting it from also has the dark ones.
Oh, you're getting it from the shop near yours?
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to... They're not rare.
The shop next to yours is like 10 steps from your front door.
Yes.
I never thought that would be where we get it from. I thought it would be years down the line, we'd have moved. You'd be in a different home, somewhere nice, quiet in the suburbs. But no, it's just the shop right next to yours.
Yeah.
The same one we go to every time we play to pick up provisions. So, okay, I guess maybe this is interesting because I feel like it's one of those shops where they don't replace stock all too often for some items. I feel like the Kinder Bueno, while it's delicious, maybe not a particularly great selling snack there. So, do you think there's a possibility that we pick up a Kinder Bueno that's been there for most of our playtime?
I'm partial to a Kinder Bueno, so I've been rotating their stock on a Kinder Bueno.
You bastard. You've taken my Kinder Bueno, the one that belonged to me, the one that was mine by right.
And it was delicious.
Well, enjoy, because it's the last Kinder Bueno you'll ever have.
That wasn't I'm going to keep having them.
You're not allowed Kinder Buenos.
That wasn't a thing.
By the same merit, when I win a meal at the end of the full game,
I'm not allowed to eat.
You can't have meals anymore. You can eat, but you can only snack.
Oh, okay.
Light snacks, and I guess you can have breakfast, because I don't count that as a meal.
That's just incorrect.
We'll get to that at a common ground in the future.
That's insane.
They call it the most important meal of the day. No, it's not. Breakfast is a snack. There's certain conditions that a breakfast has to meet for it to be a meal, and I know for a fact that 99% of breakfasts do not fit my criteria for a meal.
What?
Yeah. It's a specific... I'm not going to get into it.
Do that next week in Common Ground. I really want to argue with you about that.
So, Andy, at the end of the technical run of the Graziani's offensive, a year in, how do you feel?
All right, I'm very happy about the game. The game's more fun than I thought it would be.
Yes.
Which has made me... A lot of the nervousness from when we were up to episode 20 of this is going to be genuinely unpleasant for a decade. That's gone.
Yes. Especially after today, when I realized that when these heavy moments hit, when all the ammo is flying through the air, when the gloves have really been taken off, this game gets heavy with the combat.
Oh, yeah.
And this was without the Air Force playing much of a role in it.
No, we weirdly, before this important land stage, had a very non-confrontational air stage.
Yeah, I blew up part of your road. That was kind of it. Nothing massive happened in the air stage. No. Everything that happened important was on the ground. Yeah. And at the end of it, I found myself a little bit exhilarated. However, when the wind hit, it felt like the calm after the storm. Like the storm had came and I won afterwards.
Yeah.
And I won through situations feeling completely divorced from what happened. Yes, I needed to hold Sidi Barrani, but I'll be honest, the moment I found out the retreat rule where you don't have to move,
you'd won.
It sort of felt like a foregone conclusion. I kind of spoiled it for myself. If I'd maybe played by the rules a bit and then brought it down to me having to drive you back out of Sidi Barrani with my men, it would have had a bit more zest to it. But I wanted to win.
You'd take the win, yeah.
So we're now left with a scenario that I'm going to be ripped apart during, I think.
I think so, yeah.
I've got a lot of divisions that have just shown up to bolster my forces, but my supply lines are a mess. I've got one that technically runs from Tobruk down to Gyarabub, but that's not going to do me any good.
You're not going to actually run along that.
No, that's a garrison that I don't want to help. They've been starving for turns.
Oh, so they'll be getting hit at the start of turn 4 as well.
Yeah, they've had no stores the whole game. I've been neglecting them massively. You know what? We're lucky they haven't just died. Lucky they haven't starved to death. Yeah. But they don't need to be alive. I just need to be able to supply the place.
Yeah.
Now it's weird now knowing what the end feels like, because now I wonder what the end of the full game will look like.
That'll be, because the win conditions on that are much more involved, and I don't think they're happening by accident.
Not that happening by accident, but the day that it ends.
Oh, that'll be nuts.
Well, the day that it ends, it's just going to be counting up points.
Yeah.
It'll be 111 turns over, and that is then it.
Yeah.
This is so surreal. I can't believe it's done. I can't believe we've ticked off. We've actually played one of the scenarios of the campaign for North Africa. We did what we set out to do at the start of this. Now we just need to do the rest of it.
Yeah.
Which is finish this. We're only halfway through the practice run. And then we have the full game to do.
But yeah, we have been much faster, I think.
We have, which means
because this turn took about as long as turn 2 maybe, but a lot more happened in it.
Yes. Which is odd, because you would have thought that's because we were looking at the end and we were trying to plan for it, but it's not. We just started to test out more things. Today, I used anti-tank as the combat segment for the first time.
That seemed pretty weak from my...
You need to have a lot of anti-tank to pick apart more than a few. Yeah. I, at first, went in looking at the raw tank points, so before I divided it by 10.
Yeah.
And I thought I had a lot more. I thought I had 6. I had 1, because it rounds up.
Yeah.
So I had 0.6, which was pitiful. Did I take off 1 tank? No, I didn't even take off 1. Oh, no, that's right. I got a 26. I needed a 31.
Yeah, and because weirdly, because of the way the dice work, 26 is 1 less than 31 in the game.
Yeah, I don't like this dice system. But stuff like that feels like a thing of the past. Complaining about the dice system.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I look back now.
It is weird and arcade, but I've just got used to it.
Yeah, I don't know, that the game now feels so familiar, most of it anyway, that when we go in and play this whole thing, I feel like I'll be doing something that I'm at least familiar with. I didn't think I'd feel so comfortable with the game this early in. I know it's been a year, so it sounds silly, but it still feels like there's so much of it unexplored. Yeah. There's huge swathes of the rules that we'll scroll through to get to stuff that we need to look at each week, and I'll come across stuff and I'll be like, we don't look at that. I've never looked at these sections of pages.
Like for the production and some of that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, like I gently nudged into the idea of construction last turn, which I've cancelled by moving my guys.
Oh, so the
Minefield's not getting completed. Yeah. That's over and done with. The airstrip is still... Well, the airfield's being repaired, so that's still underway.
Yeah.
That'll be done. But the ins and outs of the game, the poisoning wells, sweetening wells.
Not really done that.
We haven't done that. We've not really had much of a cause to. Water's never been an issue.
That is something that surprised me after a year. Is like water is by far the easiest thing to manage.
Water, fuel, a very, very close second.
Fuel is basically as easy to manage as water, but you just get it from less places.
Yes, and you use it. It feels like I never have worried about fuel. The only guys that were low on fuel were the Saharan guys that just showed up at Alexandria.
Yeah.
But thankfully, you're putting them on a boat back to Europe now, so they don't need to worry about
Off you
fuel.
go, lads.
I don't know if there's any particular areas that I want to test out. Like, I don't think there's any rules where I'm like, I need to get this in before the end of the scenario in a natural sense.
I'm interested in the reserve stuff.
The reserve stuff I understand in its essence. I just have never felt like it would outweigh the benefit of using stuff.
Yeah, it's an interesting one at work, because basically you hold your turn and use it at the end, right?
You sort of pause a unit.
Yeah.
You put them into a state of, like, non-play.
And then release them.
And then you release them. There's like a stage 1 release or a stage 2 release. But it means that they can't really be touched. Like, if I reserve a truck convoy, you can't then capture them.
Can you not?
No, I'm pretty sure you can't touch them, because that was what I could have done to prevent the truck bandits from getting them. That's what we'd looked at.
Oh, right, okay.
But I ended up never doing that, which could have cost me the game.
Yeah.
Because if I'd done that with some of my convoys, I would have been sitting relatively pretty.
Yeah.
But instead I didn't, and you ended up absolutely rinsing all of my supply lines. So now I'm stuck with no supply lines. I'm stuck with a wall that's come up to City Barani that I don't really have the resources to take on long term. And I've got all my units out in play that I realistically will have in the scenario, and they're all clustered around that area.
Yeah.
There's nothing else coming.
Yeah, I don't have any relevant... I think I get like a few tanks, but like I think I'm pretty tapped on the... If I remember rightly, I got no more aircraft.
Yeah.
And I might get some like stuff coming in, but it won't like get to the front in time. Like comes in like turn 5.
Well, my black shirt showed up today. They did technically win me the game by having the trucks that I needed.
Yeah.
But they were so like abstracted from my plans. They were just like, oh, and then they'll show up eventually.
Yeah.
Little did I know, they are actually my ace up the sleeve to win.
Because of the trucks.
But not because of their combat prowess, just because they happen to have trucks with them. And thank God they were moving over road the whole way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I could have lost all the trucks I needed in order to win. It's over. It's surreal. I really can't believe it's at this point.
Yeah.
The Bueno felt like a pipe dream. I think if I told myself a year ago that I'd be winning a Kinder Bueno in January of 2026, I wouldn't believe me. And rightly so. Should have been you, Andy.
What? What?
Yeah, you should have won. I'll say it right here, right now. You should have won this.
I did definitely fuck up a lot.
Thing is, if you hadn't pulled back from City Barani, I think you'd have won.
Yeah.
Which is this feels like kicking you when you're down a bit, but
no, I do think it is a sort of it's a good lesson to learn in this one rather than
the full game.
7 years in, suddenly you win because I've not thought about.
I think now we'll always have those victory conditions in the back of our minds.
Yeah.
We'll always be checking up on them because the last thing we want is this to be sprung on us. Like you say, 7 years down the line, that's a much harder pill to swallow.
Also, for the final one, yours are much more clear cut in terms of you have to hold everything in Alexandria and Cairo, right?
Yes.
Which is sort of like that's much more...
That's really blue sky thinking for a strategy because that means I've conquered the map.
Yeah, so it's also easier to sort of keep in mind that...
Yeah, I guess it's not going to be hard to remember that.
Keep your capital.
And you can't do that until turn 35. You can't win until turn 35.
Yeah, and then when I do, mine's a bit more complicated. I need to sever supply lines and stuff.
You essentially need to do the same thing. You need to push all the way to map A and then stop me having a supply line that runs to Tripoli, which is an off-map location.
Yeah.
So if I don't have that, I mean, first of all, I'm absolutely boned at that point.
Yeah.
Because what the hell has happened to the game for either of us to get to any end of the map? At that point, one of us has fallen asleep at the wheel.
I think we might get to fighting on like borders of map A and E.
We could definitely get. I could see it to the borders. If
It's
we're
like
fighting,
El Alamein is the border hex on map E,
yeah,
but I don't think we're gonna have. I don't think El Alamein is probably gonna not have the same weight in our game than it did in the.
well, yeah. What you got to bear in mind, and this is information I've taken from your history segments, that Graziani, Mussolini were idiots.
Morons.
Yeah, so what they did, we can't really take as anything to base the game off. We've got all of the rules that allow us to move in the same confines of reality that they did. We've got the same units, but we don't have the same stupidity, I'd like to think. We certainly don't have all of their flaws. So I think, all in all, we don't need to think of it in the historical context. I think we just need to look at it from, we have the tools they had,
Oh yeah,
but we just aren't the tools that they were.
well, yeah, that was like Rommel who got to. Italy didn't
Yeah.
didn't ever do that.
I'm interested to see what it's like when the Germans show up.
Yeah,
That's going to be a different game.
I'm also interested for the full because 1 to 20 is there's scenario like groups because they have the same starting thing. We're doing the Graziani's offensive
Because it's the shortest one.
because and it's
And
from
it's from turn, well,
from
very
turn.
start.
But there's another one that's from the very start that's 20, and
Yes.
that's the Operation Compass one.
Yeah, that takes you up to, turn 20. And then not long afterwards, you can do the Desert Fox one, which is a few turns after that. And then that goes up to turn 40-ish, I want to say.
Yeah, well, if it's I've not checked the things, but 14th of February,
Yeah.
Rommel arrives in Tripoli.
Yes.
Operation Compass all ended on the 7th. So basically, I'm imagining you probably showing up like turn 22.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Maybe what we should do is do a practice run of every scenario.
And then we've also played the full game.
I don't actually know if there's a scenario that takes you up to turn 111.
I don't think there is. I think it ends
I think that's like
earlier.
overtime mode.
Yeah.
But now, this is overtime mode. That's what we're doing now.
Yeah.
This is the end of the beginning. And everything that comes after this is... It's bonus. It's time for us to learn the rules, and it's time for Andy to get his just
Get
desserts
some revenge.
and really pick apart the Italian force. What it will do is give you a chance to see what it's like when you've got the sort of the winning force that you need, and you've got the leverage, you've got the positioning, and now
just like what the push looks like.
and how much resistance comes from a broken force.
Yeah.
Because you need to know that really to structure the rest of it. Because that ebb and flow, I suspect, will come in the main game.
Yeah, because those 4 divisions that are up there, well, not 4 divisions, all the guys up there have taken heavy losses now, haven't they, on the north coast?
I think everyone up there has been hit at least once.
Yeah,
at
so
this
then
point.
it's the 4 full divisions down south.
Yes.
And then obviously the black shirts coming in.
Yeah.
So you can essentially reload those 5 tiles with new divisions.
Yeah, I can swap them out.
Yeah.
One of the black shirt divisions is not as good as I hoped.
They're not. I've been doing a bit of research on them. They're not elite troops, the black shirts.
Yes. Well, we won't be having a history segment this week.
Nope.
We've been very much fixed on the game, so we're a little breather between the 7th Armoured Division's history and, well, you've said it there, I believe.
Yeah,
it's the...
Couple episodes on the black shirts.
Yeah, which I'm looking forward to, especially since they will be at the forefront of the rest of the scenario.
Yeah, it's
All
worked
4.
out quite nicely in that sense.
I think it's the 3rd black shirts. They're not what I hoped
Yeah.
compared to the others. It's fairly
Do you have like
lackluster.
M? Is one of yours like M battalion or like M regiment?
I think that's the 3rd.
Is that your good one?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not off the top of my head. I remember looking at the sheet earlier and I was like, hang on a minute. This isn't what I hoped it would be. So I'll have to
Well,
have a
yeah,
look
they
at-
sort of cut their teeth not through intensive training in the desert, but beating up socialists in Italy.
Yeah, and this is a different environment to that. I can see why that doesn't translate very well. So the Kinder Bueno.
Yep.
When you gonna get me this Bueno?
For the next recording, I guess.
Okay, just so I can eat it on mic loudly.
Okay, so definitely for the next recording, because if I give it to you when we're not, you just have to save it. Also, don't loudly eat on mic.
You said this to me ages ago as well.
And it's always correct.
No, that was circumstantial. That was popcorn.
fucking wild.
The Kinder Bueno's like got a soft, like it's got like a bit of a crisp wafer, but it's not like a loud thing to eat. It'll be more of like a than a like crunch.
What's the thing called? Is it synesthesia or whatever? Way
it's called ASMR, Andy.
You can't handle the sound of people eating, and like most people have it.
No, you're thinking of whistling. Most people don't like whistling.
That's not true.
Yeah, you like whistling.
Yeah.
Oh, of course you would. You can't whistle, can you?
What song was that?
What song was that? I don't know.
You know what song it was.
No, I don't. That's why I'm confused.
It's one of the best songs ever about whistling.
Oh, right. Okay. Was it Whistle by Florida?
By Florida. That took me way too long to work out as well.
Well, wait until I tell you about Will.i.am.
What's that thing?
What's that thing?
Yeah.
He's a guy. He's a singer from the
Mr.
Black Eyed Peas. Mr. I Am. First name William, surname I Am. Yeah, he's a Dr. Seuss character. Yeah. He does like green eggs and ham, actually. Because if you think about it, Black Eyed Peas, green eggs and ham. It's all an homage. It's a fromage homage.
Nice.
To Dr. Sage, author of Cat in the Hat. Good book, better film. Incredible film.
Awful film.
If anyone hasn't seen the Mike Myers Cat in the Hat, watch it, pause this, and only come back to it if it's a good film.
That's our entire audience gone.
Our entire audience. I have faith that the kind of people that listen to this will love the Cat in the Hat. It's incredible. You like the Cat in the Hat?
No, 50% of the people who host this show don't like it. So why would 100% of the audience?
100% of the hosts of the show don't like it. I'm a special guest.
Oh, you don't like it either?
No, I'm a special guest.
Oh, we're doing that, are we?
I don't. Yeah, I decided I'm actually going to be credited as special guest.
Okay.
It also means that I get tax breaks.
Yeah, but it also means I own 100% of the show and I'm paying you a bit.
No, I still own it.
No, you don't.
I own it.
That's not what a special guest. You can be a special guest or you can cede ownership of this project to me.
We're actually like a building society. We're a mutual. We're owned by the listeners.
Again, no.
Yeah, we're going to hold an AGM. We're going to hold our annual general meeting. Everyone gets to tell us what changes they want, and we're legally bound to make those changes. Whatever they are.
Let's not do that.
No, that's how it works, Andy.
I know that's how a building society works.
That's showbiz. That's showbiz.
A building
Give me my fucking Kinder Bueno, Andy. Give me it now.
What? You offered to go and you didn't tell me what you want.
I won the game. I won the scenario. Kinder Buenos all round. How many do I get?
One.
Yeah. I've done this for a year and I get one fucking Kinder Bueno.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what have I done?
And there was no rule that it couldn't be squished beforehand.
You monster. You monster. If you do that, you're setting a very dangerous precedent for the meal. Because we didn't say shit about not poisoning it.
I think we should put that in.
We should probably set out some ground rules for our own win conditions. In terms of the meal can't be anywhere where we have to pay for accommodation or flights to get there.
Well, we'll see.
Right, no, I'm vetoing that. Heavy veto, hard veto.
We'll see.
No, I'm gonna. Well, there's a few places I'd fly to. I would take you to Johannesburg, safest city in the world, statistically.
That's not on.
There's a discussion we've had before where I've explained Johannesburg as the safest city in the world, and you just won't have that for some reason.
No, I guess not.
I don't know why. There's no statistics to prove otherwise that you have in your hand right now. Don't use your laptop. You can't just get the laptop out whenever you're in a corner.
Why not?
Because that's cheating.
If I get backed into the full corner, I go on my laptop.
It's a good reference. Good show. The thing is, it's a bit like when teachers used to be like, well, you won't always have a calculator in your pocket, so you can't use a calculator in this test.
Look how wrong they were.
Look at me now. I was about to just dox my old maths teacher. She was a lovely woman. I'm not going to do that. She also retired, actually. She retired when I was there. My last year in her maths class was her last year teaching overall. What a send-off. To have a star pupil like me. I got an A in my maths GCSE.
It's good.
You know what I got in my AS level maths GCSE?
Nope.
I got a U. I got a U.
Oh, you got a U in chemistry.
You got a U in chemistry?
Yeah.
Well, don't know how that's the case, Andy, because you and I have great on-mic chemistry. All three of us.
Yeah.
Oh,
I did not like chemistry.
no?
No.
Why not?
Really confusing and hard.
I agree.
Also, I'm pretty sure a teacher accidentally chlorine gassed the room once.
That'll do it.
It was like making it in a fume cupboard, and then Gail put her hand up and was like, "It smells of chlorine," and she was the one sitting closest to it. It was like, "Right, everyone get out."
At least he evacuated the room. I had a lot of teachers who would be so stubborn that they just would not.
Yeah, they'd be like, "No, it isn't."
You playing with bottle caps
Yeah,
next to your
sorry.
microphone. Well, that's going to be a nightmare for the edit.
I'm sorry.
And you tell me I can't eat down the mic. That's far worse. It just sounds like there's tiny metal horses clip-clopping away in the background.
Okay, I'll stop doing that if you don't eat.
Get the bottle caps back out.
God damn, that didn't work.
I'm willing to compromise. I'm a reasonable man. We can both make noise down the microphone. It's what we've been doing for a year, Andy.
Just make a noise.
And I won! Oh, to be a winner.
Must be nice.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you'll find out. I think you're going to do some real horrible things to me over the next 3 turns.
It's the plan.
And tell you what, here's some stakes for you, Andy. We're going to have stakes.
Okay.
If you manage to get the other win condition, the higher ranking one where you take Tobruk,
Yep.
I'll get you your own Bueno.
And also reimburse the I need 2 Buenos.
No. Get lost. Absolutely not.
I accept.
I'll get you a Bueno, and for this insubordination, I'll give you one of the fingers.
Fine.
Good, yeah. Don't talk yourself down from another. Don't.
I'll take it. I know what I'm beat.
Yeah, take yes for an answer. So, we've covered off the closing chapter of the real scenario. After this, it's overtime mode. It's just a little sandbox in the desert of our mind. That's what it is at this point.
Yeah.
That's where this game will always live on, Andy. These 12 or so months, these were the desert of our minds.
Okay.
This is where we were. We were sat in them, trapped here in this room, unable to escape this plight, and I've shown us the door. And you know what we did at that door, Andy?
Closed it again because we're only halfway.
We closed it, we turned back round, and we're back in there. We'll always be in the deserts of our minds.
Trapped.
That's what this is. It's eternal torment. We had a chance to get out. We could have very reasonably just said today, that's it. We played part of the game. Wasn't that impressive? Thanks for coming, everyone. But no. Men of our word. Flawed with honour. That's what we are. Bound by it. That and the promise of a hot meal. Who would I be to walk away from that?
I guess another promise you're
I'll
bound by.
die in these deserts.
Okay. I guess another promise you're bound by is that we would read the emails. Just trying to give us a little segue there.
That's true. We did say we'll read them all, and in order to do so, we'll have to just read them. There's only one way to eat the elephant, Andy. One bite at a time.
Let's get into it.
All right, then. Let's have it. Some listener mail. We got to get through them all at some point, and they keep on coming in, which means reading them on a regular basis is probably the best way to do this.
It is indeed. This one's from the web.
We do have a backlog of these, so getting through them is vitally important. We can't leave them there to fester.
So if you set a web form in, we'll be...
We're trying to chip away at those as well. We've neglected them, we're aware, and we apologise. We've been on the website, we've fiddled around a bit. Website looks a little different now. Check it out.
New banner.
New banner, again, courtesy of Alex, and thank you very much for it. Your artwork is absolutely fantastic, stupendous, and better than what we did previously, which was erroneously stick a different game on our logo. For those of you who are wondering at this point if we're qualified to do what we're doing, no, and we never claimed to be, so just bear that in mind.
So, this is from Pete.
Pete.
Long-time listener, first-time form user. I was just listening to episode 52, and the common ground that was proposed was about using more inflatables, and had me thinking about a conversation I had with my wife last week.
Oh, please don't say she threatened to divorce you for talking about the podcast.
No. I recently refinished my basement into a den/gaming room, and I'm in need of a new couch. And my wife suggested a boneless couch.
Oh, I love that.
A boneless couch, I said quizzically. She said, yeah, like those beds that come in a box and then decompress when you open the bag. Kind of like inflating, don't you think? In my head, I questioned everything I thought I knew about couches. Was this a beanbag, like a beanbag chair? Does it have structural integrity? Does it deform permanently when you put a butt groove in it? Anyway, I just wanted to add to your conversation about things inflating. It's not really inflating like with a pump, but it's kind of similar. 2 questions. I know you said you're getting more comfortable with the gameplay and it's going quicker. What do you feel like will be your maximum speed per turn once you get into the games? Is it days or weeks or hours if everything went flawlessly?
That's a very good question, because I guess it's hard to predict at the moment because we're going still at kind of an exploratory pace, but we have definitely picked up the pace.
Yeah.
I reckon if we got because I think if we sat down and had a good 8 to 10 hours, we could crack out definitely an op stage with complete ease. I think realistically, we would get to the point where if we had a full day to do it, if we got a nice 12, 14-hour stretch, and once we're more familiar with it, and maybe it's a fairly quiet turn, we could get a turn
do
done.
a turn in a long sesh, yeah.
I think, best case scenario, I think maybe
Especially
a turn in
more
a day.
Automation and that all comes together.
Yeah, once the spreadsheets are fully refined and it gets rid of all the paperwork so we don't have to go away and do some of that at home, then I think realistically a turn in a day, and a long day, not our usual evening sessions, which is what we do.
Like a weekend one.
Yeah, if we had more time to do it without our schedules of work.
The rest of our lives.
Yeah, we have full lives going on as well, so it means we don't often get a full day to do it, but down the line, that could be something we could pull off.
Oh, yeah.
A full day doing a turn, but that is very optimistic thinking. But if we're talking theoreticals, I think that's it.
If that's a flawless as well, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we'd get any faster than that. I don't think 2 turns in a day would be
I don't think we'd want to either.
Yeah, 1, I guess we'd mentally burn out.
And 2, it would be weekday episodes where we get through a turn in 10, and then suddenly we'd be like, hey guys, we did 2 turns.
Yeah, you'd be looking at a bumper episode.
Yeah.
If it came to that and we did a full turn, expect a longie in terms of the episode, and also expect, kind of like today, a bit of a jumbled mess of the recap because we're trying to keep track of all the stuff that happened, which will be in much smoother note-taking in the full game because we'll have the time to refine that between scenario and full game.
Yeah, it's another reason it's good the scenario's still going because we're not ready for the main game yet.
Oh, yeah, well, we'll have a nice hiatus between
Yeah, we'll
to
have a
put it
month
together.
or so. And then follow-up question would be, if you're playing with a full squad and everyone was playing at maximum capabilities, would it shorten the time? Or do you feel great debates would erupt between teams and strategizing would make it take longer than ideal?
I think in the spirit of the game, as it's intended, if everyone works seamlessly, definitely faster. It's smoother as well. Realistically, if we got more people, the logistics of that would be, first of all, finding people. I definitely don't know 4 people to have on my team who would do this. I think if I did come across those people, if they're people I know, I think there'd just be so much debate in amongst it. I think it would be very fun. It would be incredibly fun, but it would not be streamlining the process at all.
But yeah, I think that discussions would be interesting.
Yes, it would become a very different kind of game.
Yeah.
And I would really enjoy that side of it. I just don't know that it makes it easier to play. I think it becomes a different thing I enjoy doing for different reasons.
That's a good way of doing it, yeah. The show is great, and I look forward to seeing how all this plays out. Stay subtle, humble, and brave in the deserts of your mind. From Pete. Thank you very much, Pete. Some good questions there. And look into some of these boneless furniture.
Yeah, spoiler alert, Pete, I win and turn 60. But we will forever be in the deserts of our minds. We've come to accept that we'll never escape. We'll die playing this game, Pete. But I really hope that you found some good boneless furniture.
Yeah.
I'm
got a nice den set up.
Yeah, let us know if you got that boneless furniture, or if you went for something a bit more conventional. Some couch on the cob. Trademarked.
Yeah, you don't want anyone nicking that.
Yeah, I come up with all sorts of fun and good ideas. I don't want anyone to snatch them up. We're putting this information out there, so it's in very poor taste if someone steals that. If I see couch on the cob. The next is an email, traditional, at our email address, which is info@warwithamate.co.uk, for those who want to send emails. This is from Joe. Hello, Andy and James, and also Jurassic Park friend. Our Jurassic Park friend has had a mention.
We'll pass it on.
I am also a Jurassic Park friend. I've watched the movies more times than I can count, and know way more about the series than is healthy for one person. Oh, this should have a trivia off. I think our pal would do well with that. So that would be interesting. Spin-off series.
Battle our friends and various things.
We're going to nominate champions for each listener who comes forward with a category that they're good at.
Spin-off podcast, War with Our Mates.
I like that. See, another good one. No one steal that. Did you know that in the script for the first movie, the Gennaro character, during the scene where Hammond is giving them the tour and showing them the scientists, is supposed to ask, are these characters animatronics? The actor instead says, are these characters autoerotica? Not sure if the filmmakers didn't catch this or didn't bother to fix it. My favourite movie of the series is The Lost World, and I will not apologise or back down for my opinion. Even from, because I've seen the films, the first three anyway. Please don't come after me. I've not seen the Chris Pratt ones. I've heard they're good.
Yeah.
But even I know that The Lost World is a rogue choice.
Yeah, I've only seen the first one, I think.
That is, as in most cases, that is the best. I do have a soft spot for 3, where the raptor says Alan on the plane.
I've seen that clip. That's a fun one.
That's what you want from Jurassic Park, isn't it? The fun clips.
Fun clips.
I was randomly discussing Monopoly with a co-worker one day, and that got us started on what the longest board game in the world was, which inevitably led to the campaign for North Africa. Sometime later, I thought it would be cool if someone actually did manage to beat it and made a show out of it, like a live stream. And lo and behold, through my research, I found you guys. I ended up binging the series. You guys were around 50 episodes in at the time, and as I'm writing this, I just finished the Christmas episode. Kind of bummed I have to wait for more, but I'm eager to follow along for the journey. Well, I come across this sometimes as well, whenever I'm doing a bit of look into it, just see what kind of things are erupting in the campaign for North Africa sphere. And there are occasionally people who post on Reddit stuff like, oh, it would be cool if this is a good podcast idea. And I'm like, no.
It's us.
That's my idea. Don't steal that. I keep on saying that. Listen to the podcast. I don't know much about World War II. Same. But some of my special interests is bats. So I do have a history story for you. During World War II, about a month after Pearl Harbor, a dentist by the name of Little S. Adams wrote to FDR with his proposal that was, quote, designed to frighten, demoralize, and excite the prejudices of the people of Japanese Empire. He called it Surprise Attack, Remember Pearl Harbor.
It's a bit of a clunky operation name.
Yeah, I feel like that's quite emotionally charged.
Yeah.
His idea was to take millions of bats, glue firebombs to them, and release them all over Japan, where they would then fly into buildings to roost before exploding and setting fire to everything. Adams says, quote, the lowest form of animal life is the bat. What? What a quote. Associated in history with the underworld and regions of darkness and evil. Until now, reasons for its creation have remained unexplained. It doesn't need a reason, it's an animal. As I vision it, the millions of bats that have for ages inhabited our belfries, tunnels, and caverns were placed there by God to await this hour to play their part in the scheme of free human existence, and to frustrate any attempt of those who dare desecrate our way of life. He also mentions that just like the Mormons of Utah erected a gull statue, he would also erect a statue in memory of the bats who died. I'm sorry, but this screams common ground. This is...
the tomb of the unknown bat as well.
This is quite fittingly batshit crazy, because asking why bats were invented is not a sensible thing to say.
Well, no, he's not. He's not asking why bats are invented. They're invented for this moment.
Yeah, sorry, he's giving us the answer to a question no one asked. I don't know. The This feels like a guy who's got, like, the Venn diagram that he's got is, I'm angry about Pearl Harbor and I don't like bats. And he's put them together, and in the middle he's created Firebomb Bat Plan.
It's so fucking crazy. Let's continue.
Oh, yeah, it goes on, sorry. Yeah, folks, this isn't the end of this. Roosevelt read the letter and passed it on to the director of the OSS, while also including a note saying that, although it sounded wild, it might be worth looking into. I included a picture of the cover letter because right, so what this says, it's a cover letter, and it's got the letter-headed paper from the White House. It's dated February 9th, 1942, memorandum for Colonel Donovan. And in bold letters, this man is not a nut. It sounds like a perfectly wild idea, but is worth your looking into. You might reply for me to Mr. Adams' letter. So the fact that Roosevelt's looked at that,
and the fact he's written, this man is not a nut.
that makes me start to question a little bit of what was going on Roosevelt's side and whether he might have been a bit of a nut, because, yeah, so he continued on the email. Work began. This went somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Work began shortly after approval, with the final design being a tube with over 1,000 Mexican free-tailed bats chilled in ice cube trays with napalm glued to each one. The tube would be dropped from a plane, parachutes would deploy, and the sides would come off, allowing the bats to leave and find their roosts. Tests got all the way to actually dropping the bomb on a mock Japanese city. Results were promising and would have continued, but the project got shut down after it was decided that the boys at the Los Alamos laboratory were onto something way more destructive. While I love bats and the idea of millions of them dying makes me sad, I can't help but wonder what an alternate future of a world where Little Boy and Fat Man were bat bombs instead of the horrific nukes they would look like. Keep up the good work. I'm looking forward to when you get the Vox Machina treatment and your animated show comes out. Stay subtle, humble, and brave. That is insane.
Thank you very much, Joe. I'm now picturing, because it's mentioning it gets stopped because of Los Alamos, a Christopher Nolan film in an alternate universe called Adams, where a man is gluing napalm to bats.
Cillian Murphy would kill that role.
He would have.
Oh, I wonder why there wasn't any like cameo appearance or like a post-credit stinger where the bat plan, having been shirked, he then decides to seek vengeance on Oppenheimer and starts sending bats at him, or becomes, dare I say, Batman.
Or yeah, or Matt Damon's character is like, I've actually got something else in the works, Oppenheimer. So we're gonna pause this.
I think the poignant scene of the alternate film that you've presented as well, that final shot of Oppenheimer, but translated to this, where it's Adams going, you know how you said that we might have created a plan where bats are covered in napalm and flying to Japan? Yes, I think we already have. And then just shots of lots of media memorabilia of bats covered in napalm flying around the world in the future.
When the weapon goes off for the Trinity test, it's just bats going into buildings.
That like still shot where the detonation goes off and it's just silence for a few moments. It's just the parachute deploying.
The screech of bats.
Well, you've absolutely outdone yourself with that message, Joe.
Also, the results were promising.
Andy, come on.
This got intercepted by something else. This isn't a dead end in the history of military technology.
It is not. We're beyond it, Andy. Unfortunately, it had its one moment. It had its one bright, shining chance to be history was overshadowed by nuclear warheads. I'm sorry to say, but it's been done. It was tested. It's over. We'll never see it. It had its moment.
Dig that one out of the files.
No, I think that one needs to stay there in the X files. That's an incredible email.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's awesome.
Yeah, Pete and Joe, you've sent us some absolute classics today. They will go down in War Will Have Made history as
this man
some
is
wild
not
ones.
A nut.
That man is a nut. And anyone saying anything other than that is also nuts.
That's the front. I'm going to try and dig up the rest of that report.
I smell a history segment coming on. I feel like that was a history segment in and of itself. So if anyone wanted a history segment for this week, in the absence of the typical one, there we go. It's been delivered to us by Joe, and we love it very much.
Yeah.
Anyone else who wants to send any emails of that regard or any other related to the game, unrelated to the game, anything your little mind fancies, the email address is info@warwithamate.co.uk. Our website is warwithamate.co.uk. Just slickly upgraded, may I add. And the Instagram is just War With A Mate. We accept messages on all forums. We update the Instagram weekly. We update the website like annually.
Sometimes. It's on a strict schedule of sometimes.
And email inboxes thankfully don't require maintenance, so we can always see those.
Yeah.
So fire them on over, and we'll read everything at some point. We promise. That is a promise we're sticking to.
Yes.
Just like the promise that bats will become firebomb, except there is no nuclear option that's going to overshadow this.
We'll see.
This is locked in. So, there is the mailbag. And what a mailbag it was. And now we're in this unusual gulf where the history segment would usually be.
But we had an impromptu one, so
yeah.
it feels like a real common ground needed.
You think you've got a common ground to bridge today, Andy, because I just beat you at the game.
I've got a common ground.
Well, you're on. You know what? I'm gonna quash all issues from the past.
Kettlegate's over. We both did a bad one.
You did a bad one, and I reacted with a very well structured retort. But we decided to just shut it down. So I would love to hear, Andy, now that you've just lost at the scenario, what your common ground is. And now for something nicer. A little oasis in the war. It's time for some common ground. I'm trying the intro for common ground. I'm recording it. Maybe. Yeah. This one, it's got to be phenomenally good.
I think you'll agree. I don't know if it's particularly wild, but I think you'll agree with it.
Well, when I say good, I mean one that really needs to bring us together.
Okay.
Because never have the stakes been higher.
Okay. They need to bring back the long seasons for like genre TV.
Okay.
So I will give you some like examples that make me think this. You've got like Stargate, Smallville, Farscape, Supernatural, like Lost, where a type of show it feels like don't exist anymore. Where it's like it's genre and it's also they're doing like the 20 episodes. Yes. Everything's like 10 now.
It is.
And they're talking about, what made me think of this is they're talking about bringing back Stargate.
Which you really enjoy.
One of my favorite shows ever was like watch every day when I got home from school. But I think part of the charm of that is they had 20 odd episodes.
Yes.
So I don't want them to do 20 odd episodes and also double the budget.
No, that's not what it is.
Have the same budget and have each episode cost less. I think you get more creative, interesting stuff, and you also get the like filler episodes and that kind of show which you don't get, which are often really good ones.
You've really sunk your hooks into me here, Andy, because I've seen this happen in real time with shows moving from stuff I've loved now into stuff where I can't really get on board with it for this kind of reason. So I think there's an underlying thing behind this, and I could be wrong because I'm not in that industry, and all of it's speculation from my end. I really love some of my favorite shows ever. I really love Buffy the Vampire Slayer and the spin-off Angel.
Probably another example. They have fairly long seasons.
22 episodes.
That's what I'm talking about, yeah.
So the first season of Buffy was like 7 or 8 episodes, maybe 9. Everything else, 22 episodes.
Yeah, so like a sort of pilot season and then...
everything else really long.
Yeah.
Which makes great television for Monster of the Week stuff in between. You get your sort of wacky bottle episodes, things that are a bit out there. Sometimes that tie into the overarching plot of a season. Sometimes that aren't. But then in amongst that, you've got sort of a normal season's worth of television of like the core plot. But you get to know the characters better. You get to understand, you know, the world, the dynamics, and it's just a fun time as well. And the budget for those shows were never crazy high.
Never crazy.
The special effects are touch and go at times, but overall, really good time. Brilliantly put together show. Problematic people behind it now to an extent, but the show itself, really good work. Now, you've got stuff like that. You've got X-Files, which I'd still need to watch in its entirety. I've seen a lot of it, but not the whole thing. These kind of shows where you've got the perfect structure for a Monster of the Week thing. And another one that had that was Doctor Who. Now, Doctor Who, I think, fell for the trap. And the trap is, and again, this is just from my perspective, it could be completely wrong. There's probably a million other things that factor into it. But what it feels like from an innocent bystander is a lot of shows saw the prestige television of stuff like True Detective. Been rewatching that recently. That's confined to 8 episodes a season.
Which makes sense for that show.
It does. It works for that show, and it's a very tight narrative, and they've got a beginning and end. Because it's an anthology series, it means you've got a start and end every single season, which fits for the show. But then other shows, I think, maybe looked at that and went, well, these smaller episode counts are still prestige television. They're still drawing in people. They're still talking about it, but it's all condensed. It fits around the scheduling of actors better. There can be multiple projects at the same time. The budget is also condensed into a shorter space.
So and each episode gets more.
Yeah, and it has this like prestige psychological effect of, oh, well, there's only a few episodes of this. This must be good.
Yeah.
Doctor Who went from like 13 episodes a season and then dropped off into just a few episodes less, but still shorter, and then less frequent as well. Doctor Who, I know, it's absolutely peppered with behind-the-scenes issues, like the Disney situation, actors leaving and joining. The nature of that and the way the show reinvents itself all the time. Maybe it's an outlier.
But yeah, it feels like what's happened with movies as well, where it's either dirt cheap or it costs like $1 billion.
Yeah, you don't
that
really have
like
it in
middle, and it's like that level of show as well. And I think they benefit from, we have less money per episode, so we need to be creative.
Yes.
I think it's bring those type of TV shows back, because I'm missing them, and they're great. They're great shows, and yes, maybe they're not going to be like a 9.5 out of 10 on IMDb.
No, but they're
or whatever. But the people who love them love them.
Yeah, they're cult classics. That's what makes them so fun, is that they may not be for everyone, but the people who enjoy them, wow, they really get into it. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is coming back. They're doing a not quite a reboot, it's a continuation. But it makes me wonder, what will they do with that? Will that fall into the trap?
We're going to make this prestige rather than...
Yeah, because I'm comfortable calling it a trap, and there's one perfect example of said trap. And we were talking about a similar thing earlier of television shows that dropped off, which I suspect maybe inspired this common ground.
Yes.
A big one, the most famed example, dare I say, of a TV show dropping off, Game of Thrones. That went from the 13-episode seasons, and I think season 7 had fewer episodes, and season 8 definitely had fewer.
Did it have 6?
I think it was 6.
Which is...
And again, this is off the top of my head, and I'm not fact-checking it, but I believe it was the case that the showrunners were offered more episodes to wrap up the show, and they declined that. Now, a lot of the stuff I've seen online points to them wanting to rush it because they had a Star Wars project lined up.
That's what I've heard, yeah.
But I think it still falls into that thing of, we're at the end. This is prestige television. This is the biggest show going. Everyone loves it. Let's wrap it all up in these few episodes. There'll be big, showy, offy episodes. And then it's like a fart.
It just doesn't work, yeah.
It's bad. It's a bad wrap-up to the show. I started watching that show when the last season was coming out. So I caught up and I was like, this is great. And I watched that. I was like, what a terrible ending.
Yeah.
Stranger Things just finished. That had very long run times over a few episodes, but it kind of felt like nothing really happened. Like, they had a few character moments. They paid off some plot lines that were running for a long time. But then they also gave a character who was like very much a side character for the whole show. She had more screen time than anyone else in that last season.
Yeah.
And I don't really understand the logic behind that. I feel like these shows now, when they have this smaller runtime, they don't know how to distribute it sometimes. Whereas if you have these 22-episode seasons, you can do that and it feels fine.
And also, all those shows, for the ones I'm thinking of, all seem to be like, we might not get another season. So each season also isn't like, we're wrapping up the story in the same way Stranger Things was. It's like, this is this year at like Stargate SG-1 Command, as it were.
Yes.
And then it's like, it might end, because it does end at the, like, climactically
Yes.
in the final one. But it's like, you don't need to have everything building up to crazy payoffs in that way.
Yeah, and it feels like you're getting into something when you get into the new season.
Yeah.
And another thing, when it releases annually, also love that, when you're not waiting 5 years between seasons. Because that, and again, I know that
does kill them. I know there's like all the time you have to put into CGI now and sorting contracts out and writers' rooms, but...
And not to, because we need to be careful not to be hypocrites here, because we've talked about having like a fallow year for video game series and stuff like that. But when it's a serialized story, and it's back to back, and it's a season of television, that you can end. If you're done with it, wrap it up. It's finished.
Yeah. Also, if it's one show, you're not going to get like Buffy fatigue because you've watched 20 episodes of Buffy.
Yeah, you're watching the same show.
You get fatigue because there's 5 shows.
Yeah, and then I have one spin-off, and I know you can juggle 2 shows, but if they then span off every other character, and then there were 5 films that released on Netflix as well over the course of a few years, it feels like, the core of this, I think the issue is how people now structure television.
Yeah, everything has to be, it's either reality and procedural. Like a lot of cop shows still seem to have the 20.
Oh yeah, they'll run crazy long. But I don't know how long they run off the top of my head, but stuff like Law and Order, like they must run crazy lengths. And it's with the same characters as well, a lot of those shows. They don't often kill people off with stuff like that, unless it's like an actor being written off because they want to leave.
And it's like one show can be like a career for an actor.
You become known for that show.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know, that's down to the aspiration of the actors. There's, again, a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and we're just 2 subtle, humble, and brave guys. We don't know everything, but we do know what we enjoy. What we enjoy is we don't want these tiny, tiny television programs.
I mean, so they're good, fine, but also, let's do some longer stuff. Same budget. It's going to take more time, obviously, from actors and stuff, so you might need to increase it.
Yeah.
But, like, one of the best episodes of Stargate is a time loop one. They get into, like, 2 of the characters get into, like, a Groundhog Day thing. That, by the nature of a Groundhog Day, doesn't really move story.
Yeah.
But that individual episode is one of the best episodes. And you can't have episodes like that when everything has to be tight.
Yeah, because then you're wasting one of 8 episodes.
Yeah, you're wasting
doing a
10% of your show.
And shows can't experiment if you don't give them the room to.
Yeah.
What you need to do is just release something every week, make it an hour and 18 minutes long. It can be about the same thing over and over again, and people will listen to it because it's good, because people want that. They want the familiarity. They want to hear you talk about the campaign for North Africa. The mask slipped. That's what I like about this. That's what I like about some of the podcasts I've listened to, some of the long-form content that I enjoy. I like the familiarity. I like that it runs along. I personally really like to binge something and feel like there's no end.
Yeah.
I love restarting a show that goes on forever. 24, great example. You start watching that on a rewatch, you know you're locked in for months of entertainment.
Well, I rewatched a big chunk of Stargate recently, and it was just like, yeah, just chuck it on.
Yeah. And you don't need to worry about that running out.
And it's also TV shows, like, because I used to watch it when I got back from school. I think they had 2-episode blocks. And depending on what time I got back, I'd also miss an episode. But you could still just enjoy the
overall
Whereas
thing.
if you missed, like, episode 3 of Stranger Things last season,
that's an important part of the show. You've lost a chapter of the story. It's gone.
Yeah, so just the, like, long-running... Are they B shows? Are they equivalent of B movies?
In a way, I guess, yeah.
But, yeah, let's bring those shows back.
You know what? Well, that's what we're doing, Andy. At least we not only agree on this common ground, but we're practicing what we preach. We're putting this out there, and I can't think of a better way to wrap this up. At the end of the scenario win, we've come together again. We've shut the door on the deserts of our minds, and we'll be staying in here. We'll be staying in here forever. And if you're listening to this, you can always listen to this. This will be every week. This will run forever until one of us is dead. This will keep on going.
Even then, we'll banks.
we'll put in some extra hours, and we'll have some more released posthumously. But you don't need to worry about this ending. You can always tune into this, and if it's your comfort show, if it's the thing you put on in the background, you can skip a few episodes. We'll cycle back around to the same point that we're playing the game, just tune back in.
Yeah.
Go back, revisit them, just start again in a year's time. People do that. It works. So, from me, James.
And me, Andy, stay subtle, humble, and brave.
And we will forever be in the deserts of our minds.
Thanks for listening.